photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rizzetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
an online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the judging of the Natural Landscape category for the 2026 Australian Photographic Prize. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy seeing some wonderful natural landscape images being judged today. I'm here today on behalf of our competition director, Daniel Bingham, and our director of judging, Chris Anderson. Behind the scenes, we also have Nathan, our broadcast producer, and Mel Sinclair, our scribe. I'm Belinda Richards, your panel mentor for this session. I'm going to kick off today just with some sponsor acknowledgement. We'd like to give a big thanks to our sponsors for their contribution to the prize. A huge thank you to our major sponsor, Nikon Australia, who are awarding our overall Australian winner, Nikon product valued at up to $5,000. Thank you also to ASO for providing the Australian runner-up prize of a Color Edge CS2731 valued at $2,000. And thanks to the Professional Photographers Business Network, PPBN have generously provided a 12-month membership valued at $1,000 for our international winner. Today, we're here to judge the top 31 images in the natural landscape category. Images celebrating the authentic beauty of the natural environment, showcasing the spaces and scenery of the natural world. Our post-production rules for this category are single capture rules, and this means that there's very little that can be done to the actual image in post-production, and you can see all of the rules regarding that on the website. Aerial images should have been entered into the aerial category, which was last night. So if you want to catch up on those, that was an excellent category. Go back and have a look on our YouTube from last night's session. In this session, our expert panel of judges will assess each image, scoring each image out of 100 with a comment for each, and in some cases a challenge where we discuss the image in more detail and then rescore. When our session is complete, we move to closed door judging, where the panel deliberates to determine the winner from the highest scoring images. Our winner, second and third place Australian image, along with the winning international image, will be revealed at our live awards ceremony on August 13. In a moment, we'll introduce you to our judging panel for today, but first up, let's have a look at our top 31 images in natural landscape, and take it away, Mel. Wow, what an amazing set of images. This is going to be a great category. I'm so excited to see how it all pans out. But now I'd like you to meet our judging panel. We've got a judging panel from Australia and internationally. So today I think we've got Australia and the US and New Zealand represented on the panel. But let's start off with Adam Hourigan. Tell us about yourself, Adam.
Hi everybody, my name's Adam Hourigan. I live in the northern New South Wales, Australia. I've been a photographer of about 30 years across documentary, portrait, wedding, and now in commercial events. I'm a passionate judge and educator for photography. I love helping people, I guess, find the best and improve their photography every day, and I can't wait to get into some of these images.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Adam. And Afshin Jafari.
Hello everyone, my name is Afshin Jafari. I am a travel, architectural, and sometimes commercial photographer. It's great to see all your beautiful images. I personally believe a great landscape is not just about a place or a technique, and it should also make you feel to be present in that location, which, judging by the run through, I think I am in there. So can't wait to judge your beautiful images.
Thank you so much, Afshin. And Chris Saunders.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name's Chris Saunders. I'm joining you from Perth in Western Australia, and I'm, I would say, a landscape and aerial photographer. And I'm, looking forward to judging this category, which looks to be a real celebration of the natural landscape.
Awesome. And welcome, Christopher Ian.
Yes, I've been a professional photographer since 1981, and landscape really is the art of God. And last year, to fully appreciate it, you need to get away from it. So I travelled to Europe, Italy, with two legendary photographers, Case Davis, who's on the panel, and Mandra Montgomery. But it's when I came back, and that was stunning, but when I came back, I just stood on my balcony and looked out at the view down the valley, and I realized landscape's beautiful everywhere. And I'm going to see it in these photos, I'm sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Christopher. Kay, all the way from across the ditch.
Yeah, hi, Kay Davis from Tauranga, New Zealand. Yeah, I've been photographing for over 25 years. Landscape is one of my, I guess, my passions, both interpretive and realistic landscapes. So I'm really excited about what I've seen in terms of what we're going to be judging today. So bring it on.
Fantastic. And welcome, Christy, all the way from Colorado.
Hi, I'm Christy Odom. I'm calling in from Colorado. I'm a Nikon ambassador. I'm an associate fellow for the International League of Conservation Photographers. I'm really excited about judging this category because I fell in love with the natural world when I lived in Australia when I was younger. And to be able to be here and judge this competition is a huge honor. These images are stunning, and I cannot wait to hear everyone's comments. See them again. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Christy. Thank you. And last but definitely not least, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Smith. I'm from Auckland in New Zealand. I'm a photographer and fine art printer, and obviously a photographic judge. I've been photographing for about 15 years. I'm also the president of the New Zealand Institute of Professional Photography and an Ilford Master. And my genres are really landscape, travel and nature. So I'm really excited about this category. Love being able to enjoy spending time outdoors, just appreciating the beauty around us. And I'm looking forward to the beauty that we're going to be shown today.
Thanks so much for that, Rachel. Okay, now that we've met our esteemed panel, let's get settled and get into the judging. Grab a coffee and get ready for an exciting session of judging. All right, let's go. Mel Sinclair, can we have our first image, please? Oh, sorry, I'm just going to say before that, I'm going to start off with Adam Hourigan, Afshan Jafari, Christopher Ian, Kay Davis and Rachel Smith are starting off on our panel. All right, let's go.
This image is titled Passing Through.
Okay, we have a score of 81, a silver award. And Rachel, you're sitting on 86 and would like to challenge this.
Yeah, I scored this 86. I think it's really beautifully handled. Lovely leading lines that take us through the delicate mist and fog. There's some beautiful glimpses of other trees in there. One of the things that really appeals to me is that my eyes are really drawn to all of the dead trees, and you can see there is still quite a bit of life in there. So the mist shrouding a lot of the life and the dead elements poking through. I feel like there's a narrative there that I'm wanting to explore a lot more, and I put it into silver with distinction.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. Kay, can I hear from you? You're sitting on 78.
Yeah, I thought the image had a beautiful atmosphere to it. I guess for me, I do wonder whether it could have done with a little bit of a crop, because that central area with the beautiful clouds, sort of fog sweeping round is really delightful. But my eye keeps getting drawn to the left, where there's quite a heaviness there. So yeah, that was why I put it in the highly commended range.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay. Adam, you've got something you'd like to add?
Yeah, I scored it as a silver, and I too saw what Kay and Rachel said. For me, I guess it was just about the depth of the image when I got back to all those trees that sort of dot that line. It wasn't quite as perhaps defined as what I was, and I realized that there's mist and fog going on through. I just found my eye wandering around that image, and not really, just nothing that made it that little extra special sauce to get me up in the silver distinction. It's a lovely feel.
Thank you so much, Adam. And back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, guys. I really love the word you used there, Kate, atmosphere. I think that beautifully describes what we're looking at. The left-hand side, I'm not so concerned about personally, because I find that the motion of that cloud that's sweeping through is then circling me back around. It's almost like spiraling me through the image. I might have a little bit of a tough talk up, but I feel like it's it's in silver distinction. I thought it's worth a nudge.
Okay, thank you so much, Rachel. I'll get you to hold your score at 86. Rachel's looking for a silver with distinction. I'll get the rest of the judges to please re-enter your scores. And we've gone up 1 point to 82, silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Every point counts. So I'm sure they're happy with that discussion. Thank you so much. Can we have the next image, please?
Okay, the title of this image is Snow-Infused Crystallized Light Show.
Okay, we have a score of 79, highly commended. And Adam, would you like to say something for the photographer?
Yeah, sure. There's a lovely, again, it's a nice atmosphere and detail captured in what's obviously a very challenging light situation. I think the photographer's done well to sort of condense that. Perhaps I feel like just the crop, perhaps, or the angle, the little tree that's on the left sort of pulls me out to the left of the frame, and there's this space on that left-hand side there that perhaps maybe giving us that as sort of a more balanced view might lead us through the image and get us to encourage to see further into it.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. Congratulations on the highly commended. And we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image, Spring Snow Fading Fences.
And we have a 82 silver award. And Adam, you're sitting on 86 and would like to challenge us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I'm looking for sometimes in a landscape image as well is when we can almost see the story or inject like anthropomorphic, that human element into it. I feel like this really dominant crack at the start is snaking its way through the image and trying to find a way through these these man-made structures or these fences there. And then I get to the back of that, and then I feel like there's even little repetitions, the snakes, the little gates that open, and there's such wonderful depth and detail while we're holding all the detail, yet it's so minimalist. And its construction. I think there's a bit of creativity in seeing, what could be quite a standard image. It's been really well handled, and I'd love to see it grab another few points.
Thanks so much for that, Adam. I'd like to hear from Rachel. You were not too far away, but on the 78.
Yep, scored this in the highly commended range. Like Adam, I'm really enjoying the juxtaposition between the leading lines of the natural and man-made world. There's I guess not a lot of detail in the negative space, like that heavy negative space in the foreground. And so I'm spending a lot of time up in the lines of the fences and stuff. I sort of shoot up there really quick. So I'm happy to listen and see where this goes.
Thanks so much for that, Rachel. And Kay, you were on 83.
Yeah, I could be talked up. I think, Rachel, to respond to your comment around the I guess the negative the detail, is there detail in the negative areas? To me, there is. I am seeing the little tufts of grass, the texture of the snow and things like that. And I think for me that the path that leads up is actually part of what the image is about, is the story around where the sheep, I'm assuming it's sheep in the background and the fields in the background, or some sort of animals in the background. They've been moved out of the way. There's this beautiful water stream where you'd normally where they'd be drinking and things like that. But this path leads us through, like Adam says, leads us through the image. There's barriers there, but then there's open gates. But yeah, I definitely see a lot of texture, and I could be tempted to come up to silver distinction.
Thank you, Kay. Back to you, Adam.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ray. I probably agree with actually both of what you said, Rachel. Actually, for Kay, yes, I see the technical detail in there as well. There is stuff, but I agree with what you say, Rachel, about there is a nothingness to that space. And I kind of feel like that's part of the story here as well, is that nature sort of leaves itself barren and open and just cracks its way through, whereas humans at the back want to fill everything with space. They've got animals back there, they've got fences, and just the play of the compression, where, because I feel like the area at the back is probably bigger than what we're looking at the front, yet we're really emphasizing what nature's doing here. I just think it's a clever juxtaposition, and the way it leads us through, and there's all these little tiny stories and it's just that battle between nature and humans, again, in such a minimalist way. So I'd love to see it grab a few more points. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Adam. You're sitting on 86. I'll get you to hold your score. All other judges, please re-enter. And we've got a couple more points at 84, solid silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. I'm going to do a quick judge change. Adam, I'd like you to take a break, and I would like to welcome Chris Saunders to the panel. And Kay, I'll get you to also take a break, and we'll welcome Christy to the panel. Okay, next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Cool Blue Before the Storm.
Okay, we have an initial score of 79, highly commended. And I think we are going to have a discussion about this because, Christy, you're sitting on 88 and would like to challenge.
I love this image. Little things like the texture in the sky and how the lines are pointing back to the penguin showing a sense of scale, the cracking in the ice, the texture of the water. I think this is beautiful, and I think it's disturbing. I think it deserves a silver with distinction. I would love to hear what's holding everybody back.
Okay, thank you. Afshin, you're sitting down on 78.
Yes, I agree with you, Christy. This is just beautiful, no doubt. The ocean, the textures, everything is just beautiful. What stopped me from going higher and into award range was because of some, I think it's due to sharpening, some color shift around the penguins, and also a bit of chromatic aberration around the glacier or the mountain, or what's its name? I don't know. The ice mountain. A bit of noise in the sky, which I can forgive, but those technical issues stop me from going higher.
Okay, thanks, Afshin. And Rachel, I'd love to hear from you. You're sitting on 81.
Yeah, 81 silver. I'm not too sure if I could go as high as distinction, because I do agree with what Afshin has said with regards to the the tonal shift around the penguins, because they are in such strongly placed in the image. I'm really drawn into them, and that is a distraction. The beauty of the iceberg and the textures and everything, absolutely stunning. But yeah, I guess I just need a little bit of something else to push me up into that silver with distinction.
Okay, thank you so much, Rachel. And back to you, Christy.
I love the story here, and to see such a story in a landscape and to see so many different elements and all of them working together. I do see the little bit of chromatic aberration in the glacier in the upper left. But overall, I definitely think this had the emotional resonance. It showed originality and it had strong concept and elevated execution. So I believe it deserves a distinction, or for you guys to consider bringing it up a little bit.
Thank you so much, Christy. You're sitting on 88. I'll get you to hold your score, and if all the other judges can please rescore. And we have moved up a category to 81, Silver Award. So congratulations to that photographer. Great discussion, guys. I'm sure the photographer really appreciates your feedback. Okay, we'll do next image, please.
This image is titled After the Storm.
Okay, we have a score of 81, Silver Award. And Chris, you're sitting on 85 and would like to challenge.
Yeah, I would. I think it's worth a few more points than we've given it as a panel here, and hopefully we can talk that through. You know, the strengths in this image are all about the moodiness and the mutedness in the image, and I think, you know, Afshin earlier was talking very much about being, you know, being transported into the landscape, and I can feel myself present in this image. And that for me is why I've put it up into the silver distinction category. You know, there's a lot to really like about this in terms of you can really explore the textures in the background throughout the image, particularly in the rock faces and the water running down the hillside. You know, the yellow streak coming down from the top right hand corner is powerful, again hinting to the, you know, the subsidence of the storm and the you know, and the light starting to come through the clouds. The reason I'm not up in gold and higher is that magenta cast that's throughout the image that I think is holding it back. But that, you know, at a certain level, it just adds to the moodiness for me. So yeah, I'm interested to understand, you know, if you know, what everyone else is seeing in this, and whether we can get it a couple more points.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Chris. Rachel, you're on 77. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Chris said. The magenta tone has held me back a lot more than him. And also, I guess the detail and texture in the water in the foreground, personally, if there was less of that in the frame, it would just draw me more into those soft muted tones. Maybe I've been a bit shy with my scoring. I will keep listening to everybody, but yeah, mostly it's that really the magenta cast that's put me off.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Christy, did you have something you'd like to add? You're sitting on 82.
Sure. I love the mood. I love the textures, the waterfalls coming down. But for me, it's a little bit of a balance issue, whereas the horizon line is just a couple of degrees off. And then my eye tends to escape quite a bit into that bright light on the side. So I find that compositionally, how my eye moves with that little tiny slant, and I did measure it. And also that like bright light was just the things that were keeping me right at 82. But I think it is a strong image with a beautiful mood, and those little tiny bits of waterfall, really well done.
Afshin, did you have something you'd like to add just quickly?
That's a very quick one. I actually had that um, doubt about the horizon, but I have to disagree with Christy here. I think the horizon is bang on straight. It's just a light that causes this illusion. The only reason that I stopped going too high is the one that Chris actually mentioned, the magenta cast. I think I was a bit shy, but other issue that made me wonder if the composition is settled is a bit cropped from left might have helped me stay in that beautiful light that coming sitting or spreading on the edge of the mountain and the water. But the left side, I think, is a bit too loose. Apart from that, it's just magical. I scored 82. I might be convinced to come a bit higher.
Okay, thank you so much, Afshin. And Christopher Ian, did you have something to add?
Yeah, what I'm looking at is a work in progress. I really feel that if you think that waterfall is dramatic, go for it, work on that area. Well, I hate overworked shots, but when there's elements that are just too diffused, you're losing your power. So you need to get into that line of the rock going down towards the sunlight. You need to get into your waterfall and give them the same prominence that your water in the foreground has got by working them individually.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Christopher. And back to you, Chris.
So yeah, look, a couple of things I'd like to try and give a different take on. I think that texture and clarity in the water in the foreground is all about the passing of the storm. When you stand on a shoreline and the storm has gone through, you get you don't have the diffusion of all the cloud and the rain that's on in the background, which is creating that softness. So for me, I think it's part of the mechanism that sells that story. In terms of the brightness of the top right hand corner, I agree. It does. It's for me. That's part of the mechanism that pulls me around the image. It pulls me up to the right, and then the shafts of the light bring me back down. They bring me down to the base of that of the mountain. I follow that along the horizon and back up through those waterfalls and keep doing that sort of figure of eight loop around the image. So I think the balance of the image works well. As I say, the moodiness for me, when everyone goes to see a storm, then you do get those magenta tones and hues throughout the image. But maybe pulling it back a bit would make these discussions a bit easier. So yeah, let's see if we can get a couple more points.
All right, thank you so much for that, Chris. You're sitting at 85. I'll get you to hold your score while the rest of the judges please rescore. And with one more point at 82, solid silver award. Congratulations to our photographer and great discussion, guys. I'm going to ask Christopher Ian to take a break, and we'll get Adam to come back on. And Afshin, you take a minute, and Kay, we'll have you back on, please. And next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Hokkaido in Winter, Japan.
We have a score of 83, silver award. And Adam, you would like to speak to the image?
Yeah,
oh, Rachel. Sorry, Adam. Rachel has just put her hand up for a challenge. She's sitting on 86.
Sorry, guys, I couldn't get my mouse to work. Yeah, I scored this 86, silver with distinction. I find the way that it's handled, beautiful etching type quality, and it's almost making me think of I'll probably get the artist's name wrong. I think maybe Escher, the drawings that you see where everything sort of comes in on itself and the stairs are upside down. And the more you go into it, the more those subtle details just make you think about where you're going and what you're looking at. I think it's really cleverly done. And then as you go through, you see the odd little darker conifer type tree that just in the middle of that snowstorm is really delicately beautiful. And I think it's worth having a chat.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. Chris Saunders, you are on 78.
I was. I think it does have a really unique perspective. This image, Rachel, completely agree with you on that. And I do see where you're coming from in terms of that Escher-esque feel. For me though, I would have liked to see more of that and have that so that you can follow that and flow through the image. Whereas I feel it's been a bit cropped on the top, and I'm left to sort of imagine those areas, which I think in some cases can work. I also find it's maybe the image has been caught in between a bit, in terms of whether it's a story of texture or not, and I'm feeling it a bit flat in the contrast space. But I will come up. I'm probably not in silver distinction, but I certainly can come up in silver.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Chris. A little bit of support here from Adam.
Yeah, I was on 84 and I was very close to coming up into silver distinction. I think, I think it is an exercise in texture and just in feel and atmosphere, and everything's been really well handled. And there's lots, the detail is almost touchable. You can feel not only the sort of texture of the trees, but the texture of the snow that softens everything. What stopped me going up a little bit was just where that contrast shifted. I don't mind the grayness of like the flatness of the bottom left, but the up towards the top right is where it really starts to muddy up just a tiny little bit, and it pulls my eye away because it's so consistent away through the rest of the frame. So I could be, I'm not far away, and I could be convinced, but that's just what drew me away from getting up into silver distinction.
Okay, back to you, Rachel. You've got a little bit of support there.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I think with regards to that that softness and sort of more grayness in the top right, that just adds to the atmosphere for me. It's like I'm standing on the side of the hill. I'm looking at all of this this desolate beauty and just waiting for the impact of that weather, that ice, that snow that's coming at me. So it's giving me a real sense of place, which is really quite delightful. So yeah, let's see if we can just get it up into silver distinction with a few more points.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. I'll get you to hold your score at 86 while all the other judges please re-enter your scores. And we've gone up to an 84 silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. And we'll have the next image, please.
This image is titled Purple Rain.
And we have a score of silver, pretty even scoring all round. So congratulations to the photographer. And Adam, you'd like to speak to this image?
Yeah, look, I gave it a 77, but I appreciate the other judges, and well done on the silver. I think it's got great impact. There's a lovely sort of palette that we associate with being in that moment and there. For me, I think just there's a way that the tones transition between the cliff and the sky. Perhaps there's just a little glow that perhaps just making that transition a bit smoother and can maybe perhaps draw us back to that moment of impact right in the middle there, which is really well captured and well defined.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. I'm sure the photographer appreciates your comments. Okay, Rachel, I'll get you to take a break. Christopher Eyre, would you like to rejoin us? And Who else? Christy, you take a little break and we'll have Afshan back, please. And next image, please.
The title of this image is Sublime Sahara.
And we have a score of 82, Silver Award. And Adam, oh no, sorry, Christopher Ian, you'd like to challenge, just sitting on 85.
Yes, landscape photography, and I'll say this again probably later on when I notice a print, is the supreme test of the photographer, because you cannot turn your subject. It's not a portrait. You can't turn them into light. You can't get in there and adjust their clothing. Everything is the way it's presented in nature, and you've captured that beautifully. You've got all the tones from the unbelievable brain pattern on the sand at the foreground all the way through, and the deep black. I don't want any detail in there. There's no need for that. It kills drama to give you detail in the black. It gives you menace. That's what I like. And the simple greyness of that middle patch. There's so many tones, beautiful tones in this photo. It's a glorious image.
Thanks so much for that, Christopher. Chris, you're on 77.
Yeah, so the main reason that I had it in the sort of highly commended category was due to the lack of sharpness and noise throughout the image. Unfortunately, where those leading lines all draw us down into the grasses on the left hand side, when you get in there and look at those details, the sharpness in the capture, maybe I don't know if it's lens softness or just lack of focus, but it's slightly missing. The same with the detail up in the right hand side. I feel maybe this image should have lent more into the graphic nature, maybe cropped out the left hand side and concentrated on those beautiful curves and tones that you saw on the right hand side, Christopher. But that's why I'm down in 77, but I am listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris. Afshan, you've got something you'd like to add. You're sitting on 82.
Yes, I'm in support with this image. Initially, I was in the run through. I was with this image. I was waiting for this. I was hoping that I'm on the panel. It did disappoint me in some areas, like the loss of the detail when I initially saw that. But then the impact is so the visual impact and the graphical nature of this landscape is so good that I am willing to come up. Actually, after sitting and watching what other judges were talking, those I don't know if there are migration trails or animal trails in the middle of the image. That adds a bit more to the story, and that the fact that they are hidden behind the front dune wants me to go over and have a look what's going on there. And I'm enjoying this. I'm considering coming up.
Okay, Kay, did you have something quickly to add?
Yeah, I'm probably going to come up, and thanks for challenging this, Chris. I probably don't have a lot to add, but yeah, I think the tonal control has been beautifully handled. I'm going to excuse it, that softness. Maybe the photographer could have lowered their perspective a little bit more, but then you'd lose all those beautiful lines that lead into the line that comes directly down from top left to bottom right. Yeah, I'm going to look at coming up.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay. Seems like you've got some support there, Christopher.
Well, I really do think that we've got to give this a couple extra points. We need to send a message to this photographer. You're on the right path. Every point is going to tell them that, because this is a glorious image, right from the bottom left corner right the way through. It's funny, you talk about sharpness, and yet I can feel the sharpness on the furthest ridge and the closest ridge. So it might be an optical thing. But yes, this really does need to be a few more points higher, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Christopher. I'll get you to hold your score at 85 if the rest of the judges can please rescore. And you did it. We've got it 85, silver with distinction. Congratulations to the photographer. I am sure that they're stoked with that discussion and with the extra category that they've jumped up. Okay, can we have the next image, please?
Okay, this image has no title.
And we have a silver award at 81. Congratulations. Kay, you'd like to say something?
Yeah, just a comment. A beautiful movement and atmosphere within the image. I think just for the photographer, just be careful with sensor spots. There's quite a few little sensor spots in the sky area that are a little bit distracting.
Okay, thank you so
But
much.
congratulations.
Kay. Thank you. Okay, can I have Chris Saunders? You can take a moment and I'll invite Christy back and we'll have the next image, please.
The title of this image is Pancake Ice.
Okay, we have a score of 81, a silver award, but we're not going to stay there too long. We've got Kay. She's sitting on 86 and would like to challenge.
Yeah, what a beautiful tonal palette, color palette tones in the image that just right from the foreground right through into the areas within the sky. And the little cookie is that tiny weeny white iceberg or whatever, a little bit of ice towards the upper right hand side. There's detail from foreground to background, and the texture and the little stepping stones that you're going lead you right through into the image where that storm is happening right in the center of the image. And you can just see the detail of a little mountain rising out of the horizon. I think it's just been beautifully handled. And yeah, I'd love to hear comments from other judges.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kay. Christy, you're sitting in the highly commended range on 78.
I love the journey you go on and you go all the way back with your eyes and beautiful color tones. But for me, the texture, especially in the upper right and all the grain, kind of distracted for me. But I'm definitely listening and I appreciate you all's comments.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Christopher, Ian, you've got something you'd like to add.
Well, I definitely agree with Kay. I was probably a bit vicious on my score of 81, and I'll be coming up. There was a legendary National Geographic photographer who was once asked how to improve people's photography. He said, or stand in front of interesting things if you want to take interesting photos. This is profoundly interesting. It just flows all the way through to the background.
Okay, Adam, did you have something you'd like to add quickly?
Just very quickly, and I wasn't too far away on 82. I just felt that, like we said about the noise in the sky, but even just the general composition of the sky just fought for that attention, because I really wanted to look into that little blue nugget that you found on the top right there as well, and just the distortion on the horizon line, just that from obvious sort of wide angle thing, but even the heaviness in the clouds just pulled me away from that a little bit. I really enjoyed the journey up to there, and I really wanted to lay there, and that's why I had it in silver.
Thank you so much, Adam. And Kay, back to you.
Yeah, sometimes in different lights and things like that. I mean, we don't know what the settings are the photographers use, but sometimes that texture is unavoidable. And to me, it adds almost a mood to the whole image, which is repeated right from the foreground through to the background. The light in that horizon area is just beautiful. It's just soft. There's such a transition from foreground to background that it's just, you can just stand here and feel present within the landscape. And to me, that's part of why I've put it in the silver distinction. And I'd like to welcome you all up there as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay. I'll get you to hold your score at 86, and if everybody else could please rescore. And we have a silver award at 82. So congratulations to the photographer. Great discussion, guys. Rachel, I'd like to welcome you back. And Adam, can you have a little break, please? And next image, please.
The title of this image is Greenland Summers.
And we have a highly commended award at 78. And Christopher, you've got something you'd like to say.
As judges, we have the ability to go to 100%, and we do it usually to check for minor details and focus shifts and things like that. When I went to 100%, the photo improved because it went in on the main attraction, the dead center of that photo. It wasn't diffused by your foreground. So sometimes we're the worst critics of our work. We need to show other people, show other friends, and run the set of L's around it until we find the prime source of our photo, the prime inspiration, and that's that rock face.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Can we have the next image, please?
Okay, the title of this photo, The Sea Was Angry That Day, My Friends.
Okay, we have a silver with distinction on 85. I have a feeling that Christopher Ian, you're going to want to challenge this one because you're sitting on 90.
Oh God, this reminds me of the best of selenium printing, where your blacks are luminous the luminous black and that dead shadow, dead center is brilliant. The way you've created a foreground, which is the supporting deep tone. Your sky is perfect. It's all balanced as we come in on that one wave. And the idea that it's fingering out and yet not disturbing our foreground. Our foreground is largely undamaged by the ferocity of this wave. I think you've really achieved here. I'd just love to hear why other judges. I'm only scoring it a 90. And I thought, well, that'll be conservative. Someone will come in over the top of me at 92 or 3, and then we might get some discussion. But it certainly should be gold.
Okay, thank you so much, Christopher. Afshan, you were sitting on 73, so right at the other end.
I might be a bit cruel. I was probably a bit cruel on this one, but if you can explain what that drone is doing there and why it's not cropped out. That one issue that I have, that I cannot unsee it. I cannot ignore it. The other issue that I have, title is just giving me this is angry while the foreground is just so calm. I don't see anger. I see a wave, yes, of course, but see always have wave. I can't see anger. It's just and maybe a bit crop from button to not see the dark area with no detail, just one stone or rock in the foreground would give me a better sense of, the anger that is eluded. And right side, left side, again, too much loose area. It could have been a bit tidier to give me more focus on that huge wave. So few issues that stopped me from coming into highly commended. Again, I might have been very harsh on this, but these issues stopped me to enjoy this beautiful and magentic, wave.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Afshan. Christy, you've got a bit of support here on 86.
I definitely am listening. And Christopher, I think I'm going to come up after your comments because this is stunning. And I could be wrong, but I thought that was a bird over in the upper right. Zooming in, I thought it was, please let me know if you all think it was a drone, but I felt like it was a little tiny bird flying over the giant wave. And that to me added to the story, as well as what seems to be a rock in the center that kind of really stabilized and showed this contrast. I thought those two elements really added to that feel that the photographer produced here. And I love the tone, I love the feel, I even love the grain in this. I think it's really well done. So I appreciate you challenging it, Christopher. And let me know if that's a drone, because I could be totally wrong there. Please.
Okay.
I wouldn't fly a drone over that sort of storm, though, but that's probably a silly comment to make. I'm sorry.
Kay, you've got something you'd like to add?
Yeah, mine's very much more about the balance of the image. Absolutely find that central wave absolutely phenomenal in terms of how, the way they've actually captured that. To me, that right-hand side, the weight to the right-hand side is actually pulling me away from what is some beautiful tones on the left-hand side of the whole image, even including potentially going out towards the left. So I'm being pulled away by the element, which I believe is a drone, and also the light that's leading me out of the image on the right. So I'm struggling a little bit to actually knowing where I want to focus my eye on the image. And I know you appreciated the heaviness of the very foreground, Christopher, but for me it is not adding anything to the image. It's almost just detracting from it. It's creating this heavy weight that actually drags my eye down. So for me, it is definitely about balance, but I absolutely love the ferociousness that's captured in that wave.
Excellent comments. Thanks, Kay. Rachel, is it a bird or is it a drone?
I'm in Camp Bird. I have to say that at 100%, it is really hard to define between the two, but it looks like a tern hovering to me. Hard to say. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt there. And like Kirsty, I come in, I see that little rock as a cookie, my eye goes up to the tern, and then it's all about the scale and the power of that wave. I can see what Kay's saying with regards to the right-hand side. It's quite a bright area and it does draw your eye. And I like the way that the space on the left gives that wave somewhere to move into in the frame. I scored this 88, and I'm happy to come up into gold with you, Ian. I think it's really, really beautifully handled, and yeah, really loving it.
Hey, thank you so much, Rachel. Christopher, back to you.
I'm not going to get into the debate about that tiny object. It's like marking down a print for a dust spot. I would do it, but I don't think it's of any consequence, because the real consequence is the proportions. We've got not a close-up of a wave. That'd be just too obvious. We've got the whole fear of this whole tsunami coming towards us, and the dead calm of the shelf that the water's sitting on in the foreground. And it's different tonality. The different tonality of that shelf is giving us proportions that's saying this was almost 2 or 3 photos jammed together, because the wave coming over has power all the way through its length, from the highlight on the right all the way down. And yet, if you go into if we're going to go in tiny degrees, reward yourself by going 100% on that flecks of white in front of the black. Again, this beautiful selenium toned image.
Okay. You're sitting on 90. Christopher, I'll get you to hold your score. We're looking for gold. Please rescore. And we got there, gold award at 90. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done, judges, on a great discussion. And one day we might find out if that was a bird or a drone. All right. Can we have the next image, please?
This image has no title.
Okay, we have a silver with distinction, but we are not going to stay there. Rachel, you're sitting on 97, 10, 11 points away from the average.
Yeah, my heart is going very, very fast. This is just beautiful. Just to see a fog bow is quite a rare phenomenon. So to be able to capture it so beautifully with that central subject beautifully highlighted, the tones are stunning. There's detail and subtlety throughout, a beautiful sense of place and atmosphere, and feeling that feeling of being alone, but are we really alone? I think it's spectacular.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. Christopher, I'd love to hear from you. You're sitting on a 80.
Well, clearly I've misstepped here, and I'll admit it straight away. My screen is showing that it's not as sharp as it could be, but I'm starting to wonder whether it's my screen being nasty. I'm looking at the photo and thinking it's a real great find. This solitary tree, this hero tree, it's brilliant. It's just that there's things around the edges that are annoying me, but I don't think they're going to, I'm not going to point them out because they're obviously there. I'm not going to say they're annoying enough not to be of award standard, so I'm coming up.
Okay, thank you so much, Christopher. And I'd like to hear from Afshin, please. You're sitting on 87.
Yes, I am considering coming up. At first, I was a stop. I wasn't 87 silver distinction only and only because of that bright cloud on top left. And the more I'm looking at it, I actually think that it's not distracting me as much because the whole airiness, the moodiness, and the inviting character of this strange tree with two branches coming up from at one point it just wants me to go and wander around and see around that tree and sit next to it. Um, I, I am considering coming up, and I think I can forgive that highlight in the top left.
Okay, thank you so much, Afshan. Rachel, back to you.
This is sounding so positive. I'm loving it. So while we're all thinking gold with distinction, I just want to add a couple of little things so that, yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying, Afshan, with regards to that little speck of cloud up in that top left corner. But what is working really well, and I think that the photographer has handled so beautifully, is that the darkness of that bottom right-hand side is counterbalancing that with the beautiful subtlety and just bringing you into those midtones. And the detail in that one tree is absolutely making sure that it is the star, while you still got that amazing fog bow just encapsulating it all. So I'm looking forward to your coming and joining me.
Okay, Rachel's looking for a gold distinction, guys. Get you to hold your score at 97, and all the other judges, please rescore. And we have a gold award at 91. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done, and great discussion, guys. Excellent. I'm sure the photographer really appreciates it. I'm going to get Rachel to take a minute, and Chris Saunders, you can rejoin us. Christopher Ian, I'll get you to take a moment, and Adam, please welcome you back. And we'll have the next image, please.
The title of this image is Hokkaido in Winter, Japan.
And we have a score of 84, silver award. And Afshan, you'd like to challenge this. You're sitting on a 92.
This is Japanese painting all around. This is sketch. It's just magnificent landscape. The textures and the muddiness in the upper right side of the landscape is not actually giving me sense of muddy. Yeah, I use kind of muddy word, but it's not muddy. It's just tension of the trees in that area, which actually make that made that area really smooth and delicate at the same time, and it balanced really well with all the highlights and the textures in the front left or bottom left, sorry. At the same time, we have a beautiful textures and all these triangular mountains with the tree. They aren't mountains, but I don't know what they are. It gives me the sense of Japanese painting really, really powerful in visual impact, and emotionally I can connect with this really well. I would love to hear what other judges think about this image. Let's have a conversation.
Okay, excellent. All right, Adam, you're sitting on 80. You've got something you'd like to add?
Yeah, I too saw the detail and that sort of delicate sketch nature of mostly of the left-hand side. And as it pushes me down, I want to follow all those paths. I'm led to those, to not only that sort of grayness at the top right, which perhaps, and as it gets a little bit brighter even towards the top right, it sort of loses that consistency. But the heaviest sort of trees or bushes down the right-hand side is where everything kind of leads me to. And it's not sort of pulling me back into that the image. If I'm going to be led somewhere, I kind of want that to be the reward of the image, and instead it kind of blocks me from sort of creating that circular bit, because I really do enjoy that texture in the middle and even all the lines. That's why I scored in silver. I could be convinced to come up a little bit, but I'm just, that right hand side is just what sort of pulls me away from all of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. I'd love to hear from Christy. You're sitting on 85.
Yes, I think this is beautiful. And I love how the trees, you can see the harshness of the environment by how they've fallen and how they're moving and how they've leaned. I think that's absolutely beautiful. But for me, on the right hand side as well, if you go to the top of the right hand side, I saw the sharpness go in and out. So there seemed to be places where it got really sharp and really soft and in front and behind. So I think some refinement, maybe possibly in the edit, or if it was a photo stack, that's what kept me at around an 85 for this beautiful image.
Okay, thank you so much, Christy. Kay, did you have something to add quickly?
Oh, not too much. Yeah, I'm in agreement with Adam and Christy in terms of, for me, the image is falling off on the right hand side, and everything starts to become compressed. The landscape itself, all the lines and everything, start to become visually compressed. And for me, that creates a busyness where I'm enjoying the simplicity and the delicateness of the left hand side. The right hand side is just creating, I guess, a busyness that I don't enjoy within the image.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay. Now, Afshan, back to you.
Thank you everyone for your comments. Yes, I saw that tension of the contrast in the right hand side as well. I acknowledge that, and I see what you are coming from, where you're coming from. But I, at the same time, think that the diagonal composition or the diagonal heavy line in the from the bottom right to the top left can actually help the eye to come back into the image and enjoy the central figures or central mountains and the whole the textures in the middle of the image. At the same time, the textures in the bottom left can also balance the again the lack of texture in the top right. Again, that the top right not being so sharp. It's because of the distance, because of the compression of the trees over there. It's not lack of distance. It's not being sharp. It's just too much trees in that location that caused this to be seen as this. I don't think that it is not losing details. I see this as too many detail in that area, to be honest. I'm at 92, and I really deserve that the photographer should be rewarded for seeing this and illustrating this in a way that gives us a sense of a Japanese painting being in Japan. If you can find some points to join me here, that would be great.
Okay, thank you so much, Afshan. I'll get you to hold your score at 92, and all of the judges, please rescore. And we stay at an 84, solid silver award. Great discussion, guys, and congratulations to the photographer. Kay, I'll get you to take a moment, and I will invite Rachel back onto the panel, and we'll have the next image, please.
The title of this image is Tangier Drift.
Okay, we have an initial score of 85, but I have a feeling that Christy, you're going to want to have a chat about this one. You're sitting on 91.
Oh my goodness, this is stunning. And you can see all the different reactions of the water, from the water that's breaking up and going left to right to the water that's going back to this beautiful color palette, seeing that. And it's the color palette that's true to this sort of scene. You've got the browns and you've got those greens that kind of go into an uglier green on the left, but the photographer has made this work. You've got this beautiful spiral that keeps your eye engaged, and it's just this play of the wind and the way the wave is moving and the color, and even the fact that the sky is that smooth blue. I don't see much wrong with this image. I think it's stunning, and I would love to see you all come up.
Okay, all right. I'd just love to hear from Afshan. You're on 78.
Yes, I agree with everything that you said. What has stopped me from coming into a wide range is the image just pulls me to the left and takes my eye out, and I have to come back and try to find somewhere that my eye settles, and that is a bit hard for me. Um, at some areas, I have lost some details, which obviously because of the long exposure, but in the brighter areas of the image, the details are somehow lost. Um, I'm willing to come into award range. It's a bit hard for me to come into the gold because of the issues that I mentioned, but I'm listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Afshin. Adam, you're sitting on 88. What would you
And
like
I
to
had
say?
similar sort of thoughts to Afshin as well, and not just the left hand side where you sort of almost see the vignette sort of darken off those bottom right and bottom left hand sides, but even in that the wave that's in front, I think what I rewarded was the way the highlight at the top of the wave is so beautifully handled and softly, it's softness in the sort of rage that's almost back there. But in the front, it's kind of loses its definition. And that really pulls me towards the bottom half of the image. And I'm trying so hard to see into the back of it because I want to see. And there's lovely little even brush strokes across there that really attracted me in the start, but I'm pulled so heavily towards that bottom half of the image. That's what stopped me from going into gold.
Okay, thank you so much. Rachel, did you have something you just wanted to add quickly?
Yeah, I've scored this 88. I'm happy to join you up in gold, Kirsty. I think it's a beautifully executed long exposure, and it's got all of the emotion and detail and tone that make it a stunning little art piece.
Thank you so much. All right, Christy, back to you.
The composition, like you said, does push you far to the left, but to me, it made me feel like I was riding the wave, and then the wind was pulling me back because the wind was going in that opposite direction. So the composition itself made me feel like I was part of this scene, and I thought that was beautiful. It was like this journey I was on, and I still think it belongs in a gold category, so hopefully you all will join me up a few extra points.
Okay, all right, Kirsty, I'll get you to hold your score at 91. We're looking for gold. All judges, please rescore. Okay, and we've gone up a few points, so we've got a solid silver with distinction at 87. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done. I will get Afshin. I'd like for you to take a little break. And actually, I think we're all going to take a little break now. I just realized we're up to our 15th entry. We will take a little break and hear some messages from our sponsors for a few minutes, and we'll be right back shortly.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important, as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.
Welcome back, everybody, to the natural landscape category. We are going to jump straight back into the judging. We're going to start with Adam, Chris Saunders, Christopher Ian, Christy Odom on the panel. And Rachel Smith. And we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is Arctic Mist at Sunset.
And we have a silver award at 81. Adam, you've got something you'd like to say to the image.
That's one. There's a lovely palette, the warm palette in amongst the snow. Really, the contrast, it gives a lovely sense of atmosphere. I feel like that perhaps bringing down the sky a little bit, cropping down, sort of balances the image. It feels there's a little bit too much room on the top. That sort of want to be pulled more towards the bottom left hand side. And just as on the left hand side, there's just a little mark from where the runners come down. That where there's somewhere we can do, perhaps not in this category, but just sort of interrupts that flow, a lovely flow of the way that the snow is forming. But there's a lovely atmosphere here.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. We'll have the next image, please.
The title of this image is Serial.
Okay, we have a silver award at 83. And Christy, you're sitting on an 88 and would like to challenge.
I love this. The feel, the mystery, the lines, the harsh black and white, the like graphic. It's just such a beautiful. I'm so curious. I want to know more. I want to see this scene. I love the fact that you can see the trees and the treetops and the way that they're lined up and all along this wall. Like, it is such an unusual photo with such a great graphic ability. It's something I've never seen, and it definitely gives me the originality and emotional resonance that a silver with distinction has.
Thank you so much, Christy. Rachel, I'd love to hear from you. You're sitting on 77 in the highly commended range.
Yeah, initial impact on this was hugely strong for me. But when I actually dive into it, the detail is lacking. There's not the sharpness throughout. It's like the processing has just been done a little bit more heavily than has been kind to the image. It made me think of wallpaper or something like that at first, which is really cool. The close up and the repetition is lovely, but I just needed a bit more in there to make me score it higher.
Okay, thank you so much, Rachel. Adam, you're sitting on 84.
Yeah, I was very close to going to silver with distinction. I too can agree with the title. Kind of, at first I wondered what it was all about, but then I kind of almost see it like a barcode, which so, well done to the photographer for kind of maybe giving us that reference as what gives in my head. I guess to go to silver with distinction, I was kind of looking for that extra little bit of depth beyond the initial impact. I went looking for it everywhere, and the more I look at it, I guess I've sort of noticed that the left-hand side of the frame is perhaps a little heavier in texture. Like the trees are a little bit thicker. If you sort of get rid of that, then it becomes a much more uniform, and then I'm sort of more interested in going into that bit. So I'm almost there. I'm just looking for that extra little piece that really gets me in and rewards me.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. Christy, back to you.
I hear what you all are saying. This is so original, and this is something I've never seen before. And I felt like, yeah, when you zoom in, it looks like things have broken up, but I felt like that added to the graphic story of the maker. So I really would like to see this in the silver with distinction category.
Okay, Christy, you're sitting on 88. I'll get you to hold that score, and everybody else, please rescore. And we have one more point at 84, solid silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Okay, we'll have the next image, please.
This image is titled Midnight Waterfalls on Iceberg.
Christopher, just waiting on your score. Okay, and we have an initial score of 82, a silver award. And we have Christopher Ian sitting on 90. Would you like to take the challenge, Christopher?
Absolutely. I just love what we've got tonally here. If you go into the close-up of the foreground ice face, there's a different tone to the water that's piercing it and flowing from it. You can actually feel every droplet going down, and it hits the blackest black water. And then because it's midnight and it's basically sunset at the same time, you see that deep contrast, which is so satisfying, becomes slowly merges into a fog of, well, sunset. It's the only thing I can think against it is that often when we see things at this golden hour, we just look at the light. But this is a case where we're not thinking the light, we're thinking the subject. The subject's just so beautifully formed. What a gift.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Christopher. Can we hear from Adam? You're sitting in the highly commended range at 77.
Yeah, I scored at 77. I too appreciate the strength in the image on that right-hand side and the strong contrast and even the drama in the sky that we see that black and that golden tone mirrored. But it's that drawing away of where the contrast sort of starts to dip away, where we have the expanse of the water on the bottom, and even just as the contrast is, we lose the definition of the ice, and even the bird that is in there is kind of lost in that sort of contrast, and that's what drew me away from the real drama and the contrast it's shown on the right hand side there.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. Chris, you've got something to add and sitting on 84.
Yeah, I saw what Ian saw it, and I also saw what Christopher saw in it, and what Adam saw in it, and I'm pretty much smack bang between the two, and I'm quite happy with it there. I do feel maybe there's a slight. It feels to me like there's a slight slant to the horizon as well. It feels like the left hand side maybe is a bit high for me, and that I'm finding a bit distracting. But I had it as a high silver, and I'm pretty happy with it there, to be honest.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Chris. Back to you, Christopher.
Well, obviously, I'm interpreting this. I did actually play with my hands and create a square which just concentrated on that first half of the deep ice. But the problem is the sky doesn't cooperate. And certainly you lose momentum because you've got a great block of ice with some waterfalls on it. But because this triangulates down to the corner and it changes contrast as it goes, it forces you to move through the photo from a dark, deep, menacing ice flow right down into the sunset. Look, I think that it's worthy of gold. I really do think this one's special, especially the detail in the white against the waterfall, against the ice face.
Okay, Christopher, you're looking for a gold at 9, and I'll get you to hold your score at 90. All other judges, please rescore. And we have a silver award at 83. Congratulations to the photographer. Great, excellent result. Christy, I'm going to get you to take a little break and we'll welcome Kay back to the panel. And we'll have the next image, please.
This image has no title.
And we're kicking this one off straight into the gold range. Well done to the photographer, a score of 90. We've got Kay Davis. She's sitting on 93 and would like to challenge. You think it's worthy of a few more points?
Yeah, I do think it's worthy of a few more points. When I go into 100%, which we can do in terms of looking at how we'd look at an image in print form, the detail in that foreground is just beautiful. You can almost feel like you are actually walking on the snow, and you can feel and hear the crispness of all the ice crystals as you're walking. The level of detail throughout the whole image is absolutely sublime. There's some beautiful paths that lead us through the image to everywhere that the photographer's beautifully composed within the image. So every single element within the image is there because the photographer's chosen it to be there, and they've done that incredibly well. The color part, the tonal range is beautiful. There's whites, there's middle grays, there's all sorts of grey tones, and then you've got these beautiful black solid blacks where again there's still detail in the trees. And yeah, what more can we ask for in a beautiful landscape? So if anything, maybe we should be encouraged to go to a gold with distinction.
Okay, Chris Saunders, you're sitting at 82. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I was. I think I had it in silver for the technical reasons. But then when I started looking at the criteria for silver with distinction and gold above, I'm starting to look for that emotional resonance or originality aspects. And personally, I'm not. It's a well executed image. I just can't find anything particularly striking in terms of either originality or emotive resonance that's pulling me into the image. So, but the more time we spend with it, Kate, I am looking for that, and I'll continue to do so. But they're the main things I think that I would be looking to try and understand to come higher up in the scoring range.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Chris. I'd love to hear from Rachel. You're sitting on 92, so you're right up there with Kay.
Yeah, I'm right up there and I'm loving the conversation. The thing that I'm really enjoying about this is I'm hoping that animal tracks, I can't quite describe what else they might be, but the animal tracks in the foreground that then zag back up over that little hillock. And if you look towards the left of the tree line, those tracks are going right into that little clump of trees and right along the base of them. And I think that is giving me the connection with the animals and nature within the frame to give me that additional bit of maybe emotive content that you're sort of referring to, Chris. It's a real connection between the landscape and the species that live within it for me. I think it's beautifully handled. So happy to increase my score, Kay.
Excellent. And Christopher, you've got something to add quickly? You're also in the gold range.
I'm amazed Kate didn't mention this. So her standard, it's square. It's an absolutely perfect square. It's the stately aspect of the square. Square compositions are so easy on the eye. They need to be restive subjects. This is a restive subject. And the only thing that breaks it is that trail, which is the storytelling. It's perfect. Look, I gave it 91. No, I gave it 91. Yes, maybe I should have gone higher, been braver.
Okay. At this stage, I would like to call a panel mentors challenge, which is something that I can do when we've got 3 people sitting in the gold range who have all decided that expressed their wishes to bring their scores higher. The only judge we haven't heard from when we do this, we usually like to hear from every single judge. So we haven't heard from Adam as yet. So what have you got to add for us, Adam?
Yeah, and I think I have treated a little bit harshly on 81. Initially, what got me out was the edge tension, I guess, of that track. It sort of pulled me away, and I wasn't quite sure. But I think Rachel kind of explained it with as it came back into the thing. I too, though, agree with Chris a little bit. Is that to go up into gold, I'm kind of looking for that next emotive category, and and while it is very still and technically it is very well done, I guess I'm looking for that past that storytelling into the emotion to really get me up into the high scores. But I'm definitely be coming up. I'm just listening as to how much.
Okay. Okay, so with the panel mentors challenge, there is no right of reply, but it does mean that everybody gets to re-score. So if everybody was currently sitting on a 90, we're looking for some extra points. Let's all re-score. And we've got a few extra points. Solid gold at 92. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done. Great discussion, guys. And we will ask Chris Saunders to take a break now, and we will invite Christy back onto the panel. And we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is The Woodland Mirror.
And we have a silver award at 80. And Adam, you popped your hand up first to provide a comment for the photographer.
Yeah, look, I really want to reward the photographer for the color palette here. That gold is handled so well, and it gives a real emotive warmth to it. I feel like it may be just whether the trees are on a little bit of a lean or if it's a bit of an optical illusion, but it feels it's just leaning a little to the right. And I wonder if perhaps the attention, having the attention more on the actual subject at the top rather than the reflection at the bottom, because all the detail at the top is what really attracts me, and the reflection balances that. Maybe perhaps it's just dominating the image just a little too much, but yeah, lovely feel and well seen.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Adam. Rachel, I'll get you to take a little break, and Afshin, welcome back. And we will have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Temple.
Okay, we have a score of 83, a silver award, and we've got Adam sitting on 88 who would like to challenge.
Yeah, I look, palette is sometimes we always talk about lovely palettes, and this isn't just a lovely palette; it's a strong, inviting palette. And I guess we're looking at places that perhaps are darker than what we like, and we've got this lovely iridescent blue that it's, you know, the inside is almost more radiant than the outside, but we're let out and it's all of the colors of the rainbow there. It's a very simple image, but all of those, and just the way that the reflections on the wall mirror that palette and mirror that shape. We've got this lovely line up to this beautiful, you know, but we're almost showing that, you know, the outside of nature is lovely, but the inside can be really exciting too. And it's such a simple image, yet there's such strength in the palette and the composition. I think I'd love to see it get some more points.
Thank you for that, Adam. Christy, I'd love to hear from you. You're sitting on 80.
My favorite thing about this image is even the ground has those cracks in it in a very different way. But I saw a few imperfections with the way that maybe the sky between and the blue up top was edited. If you look all around the edges, you can see that there's a little bit of a glow, and a couple of the highlights on the left seemed a bit blown out for me. But I absolutely love the textures, the tone, the mood, everything. It's a beautiful image.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Christy. Christopher, you're sitting on 84, just above the average there. What have you got to add?
Ice caves are an absolute photographic gift. Ponting took a killer photo on the Scott expedition, but what he did was there's the boat that they've arrived in the distance, and there's two men standing there giving it depth. You just needed something in that distance to really bring your eye to. There's a single cloud sort of there. It's the only reason I'm not going up into gold even, because if there were subjects in that distance, they would, your tones in the walls, you've given us these beautiful tones so you can almost plasticize and touch, but there's just nothing to drag us to the foreground, to the distance.
Thank you so much, Christopher. And back to you, Adam, for your right of reply.
Honestly, Christopher, if I had something even more there, I'd definitely be in gold too. But what attracted me to silver with distinction is those viewports. It's kind of like, well, here's the blue inside, and there's nature's pure blue in the sky up the top, and it's trying so hard to provide you something interesting. It's doing everything it can. It's giving you that rainbow. There's nothing that, it's nature sort of providing the special sauce, I guess, rather than that human or that, that dominant element. Christy, I too really enjoy that texture in the front there. And I love the way that's reflected all through the walls. You know, we've got all that sort of gnarliness. And I think Christopher even said the plastic. I would love to see it get a few more points just to really reward the unique viewpoint and the beautiful palette that's presented.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Adam. You're sitting on 88. I'll get you to hold your score, and everybody else, please rescore. And we have got a silver with distinction at 85. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done, panel. And we will have the next image, please.
Okay, the title of this image is White Silence.
Okay, we have a highly commended award at 79. And Adam, you'd like to say something to the image?
Yeah, look, there's a very strong line and it's well sort of spotted and it leads us through that image. I feel like that the sort of focus, I can't quite lock myself onto a really sharp plane of focus or depth in the focus that sort of really attracts me into the image. And perhaps as it falls off towards the gray at the background, it's perhaps just going a little bit too, like just a little muddy that doesn't match with the rest of the contrast of the scene, but certainly a well-seen dominant line that really draws you in initially.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. I'm going to get you to take a little break and we will bring Chris Saunders back onto the panel. And Christopher Ian, I will get you to also take a little break. And Rachel, welcome back. And we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Kakadu National Park.
And we have a silver award at 80. Pretty consistent judging there. Chris Saunders, you've got something you'd like to say to the image.
Yeah, this is a really intriguing image. It sort of allows you to explore it almost in a Where's Wally sort of style in terms of a landscape version of that. I think to bring it up into the higher levels, that's what I was looking for. Is I was looking for my Wally in the image to, you know, as that little cookie hiding in there. There's also a couple of areas of inconsistent saturation across the image, but yeah, very well seen and well executed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. Can we have our next image, please?
This image is titled Imposing Iceberg in Antarctica at Dawn.
And we have a silver award at 81. Also pretty consistent scoring there once again. Chris, you've got something you'd like to say to the image?
Yeah, just to congratulate the photographer on the the drama that they've managed to capture in this scene with the blues and yellows, working well together, and the textures in that front face of the ice working really well. The, the main thing holding me back from going higher was there's just a reasonable level of noise throughout the image, and maybe just to look at that a bit closer next time. But yeah, well seen, well captured.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. Can we have the next image, please?
This image is titled White Sand Dune, La Puna, Argentina.
Okay, we have an initial score of 87, a silver distinction, and we are going to go to Kay because she is sitting on 93 and would like to challenge.
Well, I really don't know what to say about this image because its simplicity is just it speaks for itself. There's detail in the little when you see through the what potentially might be the sand being blown by the atmosphere, by the wind, whatever. But there's detail in all those things, and just that beautiful, subtle transition up on the top right is absolutely sublime, as is the delicate line that leads us down through the eye. You just keep wandering through the image, and it just holds you. It's like a breath, just a subtle breath going in and out, and you can just simply enjoy it.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Kay. I'd love to hear from Chris. You're sitting on an 82.
I was, and I'm not really sure why. And it's definitely one of those images that wouldn't take much to flip me up into much higher scoring range. I think what I was missing, and I'm still looking for it and listening to everyone as we go through this, is it is an abstraction, and that does work well, but I I'm just trying to work out what my connection is to that abstraction and what story it's trying to tell me. So yeah, thank you for challenging it, Kay, just to give me a bit more time to try and dig into that and explore it, and I'll keep doing that while another judge talks to it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. Rachel, you're sitting on 87, so right there on the average.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that you've challenged this, Kate. I think this is a beautiful study in subtlety. The image itself is incredibly appealing because it leaves us with more questions than it actually answers. Is it an aerial? Is it a landscape? Is it a lunarscape? Is it the edge of a plate on a white bench? It's just there's no resolution, and you actually don't need that. It's simplicity and delicate and masterfully handled, and it's more of, for something that is being visually communicated, it's more of a feeling than something that we're seeing, and I think that's the power of the image. I'm happy to come up.
Excellent. Christy, you had something you'd like to add?
I love that you challenged this one, Kay. It's the more you look at it, the more you see, and I see little subtleties, like the little changes in the white that almost could be gravity pulling the sand down, and you see those dimples come out in the kind of middle of the image, and it's like just to have something so simple that brings out more and more of a story, even the more you look at it, I think is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for challenging it, Kay.
Thank you so much, Christy. And Afshin, you've got something you'd like to add quickly?
Just a quick one. I went 88. I was so close to jumping to the goal, but look at that gradient, tonal gradient from that sharp line to bottom. It's just beautiful. Um, Only reason I did not come or stop or got distracted from pressing 90s is another line coming right behind that sharp line, and that is, I wish it wasn't there. If couldn't see that, I would be in gold straight away. And tiniest, small spots of darker areas, especially in the left middle, right above the line, um, that again grabs my eye. But man, this is beautiful. Just treat me over, please.
Okay, Afshin, thank you so much. Kay, back to you.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything negative except for what Afshin has just mentioned about that other line. But to me, that's about an echo. When you stand in the landscape, you can yell, you can do whatever it is, and you hear animals or birds flying around, and you hear those echoes in the scene. And to me, that's what that line is. It's meant to be there because that is part of the atmosphere and the emotion that I'm particularly getting from the image. It's very much about a feeling. We're not seeing something specific. It's about a feeling and an emotive feeling of just the tonal palette, just the subtlety, the quiet calmness that the photographer has actually brought to the image. Quite often we see landscapes where the photographer's photographing a scene, but to me, this photographer has seen an emotive element within that landscape and captured it sublimely. So that's what I'm wanting to reward by pushing this into gold. If you see even higher, I would not object to that, because I think this is just absolutely stunning.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay. You are sitting on 93, and I'll get you to hold that score. Everybody else, please rescore. Okay, and we have a score of 91, Gold Award. Congratulations to the photographer. What a great image and a great discussion from our panel as well. Now I'm just going to get Christy and Kay to take a little break, and I'm going to invite Christopher, Ian back onto the panel, and Adam as well. Okay, and we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled White Peak.
And we have a score of 85, a silver with distinction. Congratulations to the photographer. I bet you they're stoked with that result. And can I have a comment, please, from Adam?
Yeah, an absolutely exquisite palette again, and the shape of the lines and everything, the way it comes down, the back almost looks like liquid. I guess when we're talking about, we're talking about elevating this into a very high place into golds, and we've talked about it before. It's finding some way of giving the emotion, and perhaps whether that's a bit more drama within the scene, but it is subtle, it's beautifully handled, and it's just for what you've seen, you've handled it absolutely brilliantly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam. Can I have the next image, please?
This image is titled Tasman Arc.
Okay, we have an initial score of 84, silver award, but we've got Adam sitting on 92, waving his hand. He wants to challenge this one.
Absolutely. A stunning palette. The Aurora always brings such wonderful colors. And I think the challenge always within these images is then to find something to back it up with, to have the foreground that matches. And that little light is such a, it's a beacon, and it really reaches up and it draws your attention. It almost grabs the whole attention for something that grabs you that small when there's all this wonder around. Technically, there's such wonderful, subtle detail captured in that island and the leading line that leads you out there. But it almost feels like, with the exposure, it's like it's floating, and it's even got the alien spaceship kind of shape that's kind of feels like it's this connection between us, but all, it's inviting us up into that thing. And just every part of the image leads you through, and it rewards you in every way. I would love to see it come up into gold.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Adam. I'd love to hear from Afshan. You are in the highly commended range.
Yes, Adam. The initial emotional impact or visual impact of this is undeniable. I particularly loved the upper half of the image, just immaculate. I would have been in silver distinction if I didn't see the issues that I was telling you in the bottom half. First, I don't know where is the focus. It's kind of lost to me. I don't know if it is on the sky, if it is on the light, or it's just soft all around. I don't know if you can tell me where the focus is. I would be happy to have a look. Second, I can see some dead pixel all around the bottom rock formation. Some blue, red, green pixels around there, which could have been fixed, I'm guessing, within the category rules. And third, color shift around the main rock. All these stopped me to not come into the award range. And lastly, the top half is so soft, so delicate, and at the bottom we have a lot of noise, and I cannot resolve it in my head. If you can help me with that, I will consider coming into the silver range.
Thank you so much, Afshan. I'd love to hear from Christopher. Ian, you are sitting at 89, so you've got some support there, Adam.
Oh yeah, Adam's on the money with this one. The detail in the rock face and the foreground rock is just beautifully contrasted with the aurora being the soft issue. But the storytelling is that glow has created its own twist of stream of aurora. It's like the glow has gone off. I thought it was maybe a little too harsh. That's the only reason I didn't go to gold. But if it was just printed down, if it creates its own river of aurora that basically starts off at the lighthouse. Detail, well, there's sharpness. There's certainly sharpness in the rock faces and the foreground rock. The water is never going to be focused and sharp. It's just the way it is. It's motioned. I think this is gorgeous, and the color palette is absolute joy to watch because it doesn't have the exterior colors that an aurora can have that distract. They're all in the same color band as the water and the rock face. That's why the rock is green, by the way.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Christopher. Adam, back to you.
Yeah, look, I too think that there's sharpness right through it, and obviously we've got this, mystical sort of light having that, and like Christopher said, the little aurora that's coming is creating sort of softness around that. But it's just the way that light fights for attention and grabs. Like this is one of the most beautiful auroras I think I've seen captured. Yet that light is what draws me, and everything leads you to that. I think the way it balances, it's kind of like the harshness of the environment, which is perhaps reflected in the noise and getting it to that, to the softness of up above. I think it just leads you everywhere you want it to be, and even the stories you can come up. This sort of the shapes that sort of, it's almost floating in that sort of, in what would be a technically ridiculously difficult environment to shoot in. And I just think that the storytelling that's contained within, that goes beyond just, hey, there's some pretty lights here. It's just stunning, and I think we should reward it with gold. I encourage you to come up.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Adam. You're sitting on a 92 and looking for a gold. Can I get you to hold your score? And everybody else, please re-enter. And we have a score of 84, a silver award. Thank you for that, guys. Great result, great discussion. At the moment, I would like to say goodbye to Afshin for a little bit, have a break, and we'll invite Kay back to the panel. And Rachel, I'll give you a little break. And Christy, welcome back to the panel. And we'll have the next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Hasten Down the Wind 1.
Okay, we have a score of 82, a silver award. And we would like to hear from Kay. You've got something you'd like to say for this image?
Yeah, just a comment for the image. I'm really enjoying the beautiful detail and all that the sea spray that's coming off the waves. I think it's been beautifully captured, and it's particularly up on the right hand side where you've got the beautiful whites against the deep blues. I think, and what I'm also enjoying with the image is almost faces that are actually peeping out with the rocks, and they're really add to the overall image. For me, I sort of do find the left-hand side a little bit unnecessary, a little bit of it, because to me the power of the image is in the beautiful power of the waves and the beautiful tones that I'm seeing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kay. Congratulations to the photographer on your silver award. Can we have the next image, please?
This image has no title.
Okay, we have an initial score of 86, a silver with distinction. But I have a feeling that we won't be staying there for long. Kay, you're sitting on a 92 and would like to challenge this.
What an absolutely delightful image. The color palette is just so interesting and probably not something I've really seen in this context before in terms of the scenery. The beautiful blues and those the complementary yellows work so beautifully together. The tree in the central tree has just got so much detail. And everything balances it beautifully, right down to the softness of the rocks in the distance and the movement of the clouds in the sky. They all just contribute to the overall feeling of the landscape. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Awesome. Well, we've got Adam. You're sitting on 87, so not too far away from the gold range.
Yeah, look, I really love. Thank you so much for challenging it, Kay, because I was tossing it up a little bit. I will admit that what sort of drew me away, the color palette is just, as you say, it's muted, yet it's really bold at the same time. Like it's got this way. I wasn't sure whether the clouds in the top right splitting that sort of palette in the sky sort of perhaps distracted me from really getting into that detail at the top. But then the more I look at it, the more I think that perhaps it mirrors what's going on down the bottom in the background, that you do have those trees backed by the white in the sky and the contrast. So I'm past that. And the more I look at it, the more I'm actually attracted to the little things in the images, the tiny little twig right in the front of the central character. And it's like, it's the next generation of what's going on here. And it's trying so hard to be beautiful and brilliant. It's not there yet, but it's those little things, I think, that make me want to, I'm going to come up to gold, because I agree, Kay. I think it's just the detail everywhere is just stunning.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. And Christopher, you are also sitting on 87. What have you got to say?
Well, it's brilliant with having a discussion, because the more we look at it, the more we enjoy this. And now I'm seeing things that just instantly elevate it. Thank you for a square composition. Thank you very much. It needs to be a central composition and a square. But the little twig at the foreground, those little toilet brushes over on the left-hand side, the wannabes that are growing, there's so much to visually look at. And I'd love to get into the mind of the photographer. I'd love him to communicate with me and say, was this shot in the middle of the night? Because it's got that feeling of it can't be daylight. It feels like it's the middle of the night, and you've dragged the exposure. I'm just amazed at it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christopher. So we're talking about gold here. Has anybody got anything else they'd like to add quickly? No? Okay, back to you, Kay.
Oh, this might be an easy gold. Yeah, thank you for those comments. Nothing negative. It's just beautiful. For me, there's a wonderful stillness in the foreground, which is then complemented by the movement of the clouds in the background. That softness as you lead back through is really well handled. That depth of field is really well handled, because all of those little details that we've talked about, the little brush things on the left, the little twig in the foreground, and even those little bushy things in the foreground, bushy things, that they've got the details. So you're stepping stones through all that foreground, and what could be very, very distracting has been toned down by that beautiful use of depth of field. So I'm in gold. Please come up.
Okay, Kay, you hold your score at 92, and if everyone else could please re-enter your scores. And we did it. We've got a 90, a gold award. Congratulations to the photographer. Great discussion, everybody. And yeah, awesome. Chris Saunders, I'll get you to take a little break for a minute. And Afshan, welcome back to the panel. And we'll have our next image, please.
Okay, this image is titled Breath of Bromo.
Okay, we have an initial score of 88 silver with distinction, but we have Adam, you are sitting on 94 and would love to challenge.
Absolutely. I feel like we're peeking into different worlds here, and I almost see this. The warm palette in the background is just lovely. It's got a real warmth, but the greens and everything in the foreground are really well handled as well. There's lovely detail, and I almost feel like from the viewpoint, we get this lovely frame, but it's almost like the way these trees. There's a battle going on here between perhaps the mountainous environment that's perhaps had an attack or a shot, and the trees are sort of creeping back over to see what they can do or to suggest the damage. And everywhere I look down the bottom there's even the little scars around, beautiful detail right through the thing. And even just down to the bottom left of the mountain there's something there that suggests, I don't know, something like there's some sort of battle going on here, but and it's between the elements of nature we often talk about between humans and nature. This is the two different sort of tones of the landscape, perhaps looking over each other. I think there's some real intrigue and storytelling apart from some lovely technical aspects as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Adam. I would like to hear from Christy. You're sitting on an 84.
I definitely appreciate your challenge, Adam, and I think I'll be going up to the silver with distinction category. There are a few flaws and distractions that kind of pulled me away. One being the trees up in top and around seem to have different kind of tonal range. It went from kind of a darker black to kind of more of a muddy feel, and then the stick on the bottom left that kept pulling my eye out of the frame. I just wish that was a little less distracting, but I'm definitely listening, and I think that tonal might be more of the story. This takes me right into Jurassic Park, the original one. But I absolutely adore this, and thank you for challenging it. I think I've scored it low.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Christy. Kay, you're sitting on 88.
Yeah, I've underscored this, and I'm pleased you challenged it, Adam. I'm going to address your comments about the tree, the lighting on the trees, Christy. For me, the left-hand tree is actually forward more than what the right-hand tree is. So the right-hand tree is picking up some of the light that's coming in through the left-hand side. So that to me is why you've got that. But to me, they frame the image so beautifully. Even that little branch that's peeking out from the left-hand side is actually just leading your eye. The roots of the tree and that branch are leading your eye through into the image and into this amazing scene. And the sun, the time of day that it's been captured is perfect because the striations on the volcanic cones are just stand out so beautifully. That texture is really, really enhanced by that. And I can't say anything more about the color palette because it is just sublime. Yep. I'm coming up to gold, Adam.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kay. And Christopher, do you have something you'd like to add?
Yes, this reminds me of those German romantic paintings where there'd be people sitting in the foreground looking out at Stromolo or one of those volcanic things, Caspar Frederick, that sort of thing. The amount of detail in the shadows is exactly what I wanted. It gives me a different feel. It's a rounded feel, a bouncy feel, while out there it's all angular and sharp. The only reason I knocked on the head was that cloud from the volcano, if it had just found its own path rather than merge into the cloud bank. But I'm going up to gold because that's an absolute tiny little thing to go wrong on. It's gorgeous.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christopher. And back to you, Adam.
Look, I'm excited because not only has everybody said great things, I think there's even more, and I perhaps myself kind of go, oh, I probably should have gone in harder at this one. I think the tones at the top sort of get that smoky element because that's where the smoke in the image is. It's like that way, and I love the Jurassic Park reference because I kind of even see those trees like the little fingers. When you're sort of waiting to see something, you're looking out and you put your fingers out and you grab, and that's what I see the tree as. Even the volcanic ash is forming those clouds behind it. So maybe that is the path, Christopher. It's every part of it. I'd encourage you to even have a think about coming up to gold distinction because you guys can, and I'm close enough that I probably should have been. It's just beautiful, and there's so much storytelling within the natural beauty of the image that I think the photographer should be really rewarded for going that extra part.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Adam. You're sitting on a 94. I'll get you to hold your score there. And if all other judges can please rescore. And we have a gold award at 91. Congratulations to the photographer. I am sure you were very happy with that discussion. Awesome. Okay, we will move on to the next image, please.
This image has no title.
Okay, we have a score of 83, a silver award. And Adam, you're throwing hands up again. You're sitting on an 86 for a challenge.
Again, we talk about being in the scene and sort of feeling the emotion. And technically, I really enjoy the way that we can see right through the tree, yet there's layers. We get the sense of depth. We've got things in front and things behind, and we really get a sense of that harsh understand. And it's just, we get that such a strong sense of isolation and desolation, and how it stands tall and still that nice strong black that we all talk about. It's standing tall amongst all of this grayness and thing. And I think it immerses us right into that thing. Yeah, I think it gives us that distinctive element that will bring it up.
Okay, thank you so much. Kay, you're sitting on 82. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I'm listening, Adam. I really enjoy that depth of I guess the blurriness of the foreground snowflakes versus the detail in the background and things like that. For me, that I almost, in terms of that sense of isolation, I'd almost want to see more foreground, so it leads us into the scene a little bit more, so that we're seeing more of just that sense of desolate individuality. I think in terms of the frame, possibly whether they've got other images. I have no problem whatsoever with the blurriness of the snowflakes, but there's just a couple of larger ones on the tree which just do take my eye a little bit away from the detail on it. But I am listening to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kay. Afshin, you are in support of this image?
Yes, absolutely. I'm with Adam with everything that he said is absolutely love this image because of the way that it is presented, and the photographer has done a great job considering the condition of the snow and everything, made that tree bang on sharp. And you can see all the layers and details to where that you no longer can see due to the snow, but the ground layers, you can see them beautifully in this image represented and kept in the photo. And yes, that blurry, large blurry, especially the one in the middle, that was one of the reasons that I'm not at 90s perhaps, and second, a tighter crop from size. But apart from that, I think if you go to rules of the category, it sits well in silver with distinction.
Okay, thank you for that, Afshin. And back to you, Adam.
Yeah, look, thanks, Afshin, for your comments, and Kay, obviously, as well. I feel like we're rewarding the scene that we're presented with, and not perhaps the scene that could be, and perhaps there are distractions and other elements that force us to be in this thing. And so I feel like it's captured just, it gives us a strength from the tree to really anchor it in the bottom part of that frame, and it sits within, it branches out. I even feel if we're bringing in sides, or we're sort of not seeing the expanse that's out and where the snow is coming from, not where it's going to, I guess. So we get to see, and I feel like that one in the middle is, yes, it's the one that I spotted first, but I feel like it encourages me to look through and gives me the real sense of that depth, that it's the snow is everywhere. It's not just around that tree. We're immersed in it, and I feel like, yeah, let's reward that immersion.
Excellent. All right, Adam, you are sitting on 86. I'll get you to hold your score there. Will other judges please rescore? And you have a silver with distinction on 85. Congratulations to the photographer. Well done. Great discussion. And that, everybody, was our final image for the natural landscape category. What an amazing category. There's some brilliant images in there, and congratulations to all the entrants. I think everybody just about received an award throughout the 31 images. Fantastic. It was great to see them all. Huge thank you to today's judges, or tonight in your case, Christy. Really great to hear, you're bringing your expertise to the panel and the passion to this process. So thank you to Adam Hurrigan, Afshin Jafari, Chris Saunders, Christopher Ian, Kay Davis, Christy Odom, and Rachel Smith. And thank you to our online audience for tuning in and joining us to celebrate excellence in photography. Join us for the live judging of our next category, the underwater category. I believe that's starting in about an hour, 3 o'clock maybe. And don't forget to tune in to our awards ceremony on Thursday, the 13th of August for the announcement of the winners. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you soon.
Wow, photographing the way I do, but with my colors, this will change everything.
I got to see each frame, each position of its wing, and they're so beautiful that I have never seen before.
Being able to move quickly and working at my brain's pace and getting those shots in the moment. Having this camera allows you to go out and create the way you want to create.
Until you use it, you cannot even imagine what you have missed.
It's something I've never seen before in my entire life. It's something totally different.
Nikon Z6 III. Outperform.
Introducing ISO Color Edge. Precision is essential for any professional working with images. Whether you're an artist, a retoucher, or a visual effects specialist, you need to know that what you see at the start of a project is precisely what you'll get at the end. Color Edge monitors give consistent, reliable accuracy that guarantee no surprises within your color workflow. So what you see in real life is what you see on screen, and what you see on screen is what you see in real life. That's precisely why professionals all over the world trust ISO Color Edge for their image creation. ISO Color Edge. Discover living, breathing color.
I'm Mark Rosetto from the Professional Photography Business Network.
A vibrant community from all around the world who's here to supercharge your business growth.
This is not an expensive one-size-fits-all course.
The PPBN is a network,
An online educational platform with training and resources to suit everyone.
from those just starting out to the seasoned pros.
You can tailor your journey to suit your individual business needs and challenges, all at your own pace.
And there's new content added every week. But success is only part of the experience.
To us, community is super important as we all know business can be lonely.
So join us today. PPBN is your unfair advantage. Let's do this.